All right. We are Willem and Anneke from the Mission Trekkers.
Welcome to the podcast Travelling Friends of Oz, where we have a chat to other travellers around Australia about their travels, their tips, experiences, and more. In this episode, we're going to be speaking to Emily and Simon from Doing It Differently. And yeah, we're excited to hear about the tips and advice that they have for other travellers around Australia. Yeah. Simon and Emily, thanks for joining us. How are you guys?
Great.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, where are you guys in Australia right now?
Victoria currently.
Okay.
Down in Ocean Grove.
Yeah. How long have you guys been traveling?
We've just finished 11 months.
11 months on the road,
yeah.
Yep. Awesome. And have you kind of like gone a lap, or has kind of COVID kind of stopped you from?
So we've followed the coastline. So we left Victoria 11 months ago and went along the east coast. And we followed that coastline right around Australia. So
okay. Wow.
Pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. So I guess like the big question that we usually start with is just, it's just like who is Simon and Emily, and a little bit about yourselves, I guess, and how your travel started.
Cool. You can answer that
one. So I'm Emily, a qualified primary school teacher, and decided to hit the road when we had our first son. So he's nearly 6. It was really important to me to get on the road before he was in school. So that was kind of our goal, to prepare ourselves pretty much as soon as he was born. I was starting to think, how can we make this possible with that deadline to do it before he reaches school? Yeah.
And you, Simon? What do you do for a living?
So I'm a carpenter by trade. Been in site managing role for the last 3.5 years before setting off on our travels. And yeah, we love outdoors, basically, us too. So the whole get on the road thing was right down our alley. We loved it.
So you said that you wanted to do it before your son's already 6, so you would have done that, or have you only just started the 11 months ago, like you said before? Is that when you actually started, or?
Yeah, we took off 11 months ago. Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually did homeschooling on the road with him.
Yeah.
So just him starting prep, I just did the basics and did it here from our caravan. So yeah.
Amazing.
That's interesting, because we're researching that now, and there's a lot of different information out there.
Yeah, and I think every state as well, every state's got their regulations and things like that. I'm not one to go, I'll homeschool. We're a DIY family, but the homeschooling thing scares me a little. So I've actually enrolled our little one into School of Air here in WA, and she's going to be receiving, obviously, we'll still be homeschooled, like we'll have to properly do it. But I needed something to kind of give me that structure, and I can just, I'm not a teacher, so I can then follow their guide and complete the training. So I don't know, have you got any advice for like people, I guess, with the same situation?
I suppose just every child is so different. He is enrolled in a school in Victoria. So as you were saying, each state does it differently. For us, he had to be enrolled in a school. And then the school was aware that for those 11 months that, I suppose all of that wasn't 11 months worth, of the actual school term. But they were aware that I was going to be doing things on the road with him to support him when he gets back to school. Things like, we've got a word wall there. I don't know if you can see it, but
we can.
Tricky to see.
Yeah, we can see it a little bit. Yeah.
Cool. So
I
just got some letters from Kmart and some blue tack, and we just added words to the wall as we went around. So things like, the word fish, the word crab, things that were relevant to him with his everyday kind of stuff that we were doing.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yeah, I think that's good, because it's not just, like, where's this word come from? Like they can kind of put it with something, which I think
the visual that is there as well. Yeah.
Builds that memory better. That's good.
Yeah, because we did lots of diving and spearing and fishing. That was his go-to, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'd research the fish or get the ruler out and measure how long it was.
Research dolphin life and whales.
Facts.
Yeah.
Just making it part of your everyday rather than associating with it as, that sit-down schoolwork. It's that everyday, hands-on learning.
Yeah, I think especially at that age, ours will be, she's turning 5 this weekend. So she'll definitely also be at that age where it's more an interactive, and I think that's what they do in school anyways, is more the interactive type of learning. It's not so much just sitting down and like high school and things like that. So I think keeping it more playful and fun for them, so that
definitely
it's, fun learning. Obviously your name is doing it differently, so I've already heard a few bits and pieces of how you guys are a bit different, and obviously if you go onto your social media you can see that you guys are. Can you explain a little bit? Can you explain a little bit more, like what does that mean for you guys? And I guess it's obviously a brand that you're starting, so how do you what kind of advice do you give in terms of doing it differently for people?
For us, I suppose it was just a name. Initially we were going to do our 9 to 5 differently. We're not doing our normal jobs, hitting the road. But it's quite funny you should say that, because we get a lot of people asking us and messaging saying, what are you doing differently that we're not doing? So I suppose just a name for us really. And I suppose keeping it just simple. We are really, we've got a simple setup. It's a car and a caravan, but we don't have a lot of the extras that a lot of people have. And I think you can get caught up in thinking you need, X, Y, Z, when really you don't. We've done 11 months. We haven't got an outdoor table and chairs. We haven't got an outdoor mat for under our awning. Like, we really kept it simple, and we wouldn't do it.
Yeah, we'd pack up in 10 or 15 minutes, and you watch like friends we met on the road, they'll be an hour later. Oh, wow.
They're going to pack out the whole eave outside and all the backyard.
That's interesting to know. So is there, I know you've kind of messaged me about it, but is there a message, like a reason why you're doing that, or is it just because it's simpler to pack up?
I think because we've done it a lot, and we know to keep it minimalist or whatever you'd call it.
You just really don't need much. Like, I don't know.
So where do you guys
on the road and families.
Sorry, you go.
And they share toys and things like that, so you can really just take
the bare
minimum.
So I'm just thinking, like, so if you guys are eating outside or things like that, or do you mostly do that inside, or how does your, I guess, routine around that work? Because if you don't have a table and chairs outside, like, do you just do it inside or just on the ground?
Well, we've got a club lounge inside our van, so I think that's a big advantage, that we've got that space to accommodate us all around the table comfortably. So we don't really, we've never eaten outside. We're happy for the mess to go through the van. It's part of life, you're going to have spills on the couch, and there's going to be pasta on the floor, and that's just all part of it. You can't let that stuff, upset you in van life, because it's just part of living. It happens in a house, and it's going to happen in a van.
In terms of eating outside, it'd be just on your lap on the chair.
But we did find too, like, we're always inside. We'd either be escaping the elements of the heat or the mozzies or the cold. So for us, it just worked to eat inside anyway. We can run.
I suppose that's doing differently. Hey,
well, that's definitely different to us, because we actually
want to live outside.
Our caravan isn't that big; it's only 15 foot, and we got a full ensuite inside that takes out nearly a third of the space. But we have option to eat inside, but I think most of our time will be spent outside, as in taking the caravan. Expanding it a bit outside because it's too small inside. we'll see how that goes anyway. That'll adapt as we get comfortable with it.
The flies will probably overtake us and we'll be like, run inside.
Yeah, because we haven't done it really that much to know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. Yeah.
And this is the thing, like in the name again, like we all do everything differently. Meal times are different. Caravan life's different. Just, yeah. You know, your kids and your family is just, it's so different.
Yeah, and I think
finding
it's just,
what works for you.
Yeah, work like I was just going to say, working it out for your family, like, you know, and that's why we love sharing these stories, because there's so many different, and everyone comes out and has a different story, but almost everyone has that same goal of just doing it and just, you know, going out there and just living that lifestyle, whether that be long term or just a short term, to get that time with your family, or as yourself, I guess, exploring Australia, which is beautiful. Yeah. Obviously you guys have done a bit of, like you said, around the coast and stuff. Are there some places or experiences that you just, you know, would suggest for everyone to do, or like that was your best experience?
Oh yeah, there's quite a number of them around Australia. How much time do we actually have now?
Yeah, you can go. Tell us all about it.
There's many places. I mean, you could start at the bottom of WA. There's Sprints. There's so many beautiful beaches down around there that you can just hang for days on.
Yeah.
And then, like, I guess along the WA coastline, Ningaloo Reef, that's insane. It's one of the best reefs I've ever seen in my life.
How long did we spend in Exmouth in particular?
3 months.
About 3 months in Exmouth we spent.
We didn't know how long we were going to stay. We ended up there, and then we're out about 3 months later. We had to move on.
You got
hooked. Loved it.
Was there something in particular about it that hooked you there? Because I know you said before, like you like the snorkeling and the spearfishing and stuff like that. Is that something?
Yeah, it was. I think it was just that Ningaloo Reef. That's just crazy, and it's like you talk about South Lefroy. It's right on the Ningaloo Reef. Your caravans on the beach. You open your door, and there it is, right in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
and
nice.
Like I'd go for a snorkel with some mates, and then we'd be on the beach, just, I don't know, having a coffee, feet up, with the kids just digging in the sand and playing in the water.
Yeah. And you'd be bringing dinner home, like out of the ocean, and cooking it that night, and that was on multiple occasions. Like that was just amazing.
Yeah, we only went there for 9 days, and 3 months later we drove out of the place. So.
That's getting like, that's living. You know, because you're not thinking about what are you doing tomorrow. You just we like on that though. We're super lucky with our timing of everything. Like we probably fluked it. We sort of didn't really go over the top in our planning. We just day by day, week by week, and just like Ningaloo Reef, if we booked everything, we wouldn't have spent that much time there. You'd have only spent, you know, a week, 2 weeks there, and then you're off to the next destination. It was the same with Broome and stuff. We went to Broome for a week. 3 weeks later, we drove out of Broome. And
that's probably what we loved about the whole trip in general, is just, you know, not planning things and just letting things happen. And if you enjoy a spot, to stay longer and not having that time restraint as such. But again, that worked for our family. It mightn't work for everyone, but we loved that.
You guys have a plan? Oh, you go. Sorry.
I was going to say, put Kununurra on your to-do list as well. There's some cool gorges and stuff up that way.
Yeah. And then Adele's Grove.
All in Queensland,
that was a highlight for us, just to be canoeing through the gorges up there at Adele's Grove. That was stunning.
Yeah, that's on the border of Queensland and Northern Territory, pretty much. Lawn Hill, it's called.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Have you guys got any like bucket list destinations still to go and see? Because I know you've gone the coastline. Is there ones you've missed? And then do you want to go through the middle and see, I guess, Uluru and places like that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's Uluru, Tassie, and Arnhem Land's the next few spots I definitely want to do up through. That would be pretty cool. We just sort of ran out of time with weather to do Arnhem Land and Uluru and stuff. It was getting to the hot time, and crazy season, I guess, what they call it up in Darwin and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Have
we
you
experienced some days of 47 degrees, so that was definitely hot for us.
you have an aircon in the van?
yes, but we're off grid, so it was only running for a half an hour. It wasn't set up quite exactly how we wanted it to be. So
that's something we'd do differently. We would definitely change our setup with solar to be able to run the aircon and that for a longer period of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just find you swim in holes a lot more and longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talking about your setup, what's different there?
Well, tell us about it.
Anything special?
Actually,
yeah. Tell us about that.
With our solar setup, or
the whole setup,
the car, van. What do you have?
Yeah.
It's probably what we don't have. We don't have a lot of what we saw out there on the road. Like, we haven't got a canopy and we haven't got, the awesome bar fridge in the back of the ute and stuff like that. Don't you think?
Yeah, but our van suits our needs majorly. Like, so we've got a expander Outback, Jayco, and for the car we've got a Ford Ranger. And the Jayco suited us for the club lounge. It's a slide out club lounge.
Yep.
So that just gains you so much space inside.
Yeah.
And then the expander, it's an expander with bunk beds. It's a rear and front expander. So the rear expander could turn into a little playroom if you're on somewhere for a long time. And the kids just wanted somewhere to chill out.
Play Lego or yeah.
I mean, it's a sacrifice for adults a little bit, but you can't have everything, like expand a bed.
Well, we are climbing over each other. We haven't got the island bed that we'd love, but we did gain in other areas, so it did work for us.
Yeah. I think
the van
I think it moves from happy wife, happy life. It moves from like the kids happy, then everyone's happy when you're like full time in each other's faces. So
yeah, but then also you spend more time living during the day than you do sleeping. So if you can sacrifice just climbing over each other when you're in the bed, then you're only sleeping there, and then you're living in the van, so you need more space living.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, both our setups have been really good though. We've definitely put them through the test. Like, we went all the way to Cape, Gibb River Road, Lorella Springs, like any tough track or trail you can think of, the car and van was on.
Yeah, and we got bogged a lot, and we had to do a lot of recovery.
Make sure you got a winch. Everyone needs a winch and a CB.
And a CB, if you're going to do it 100% for safety, get a CB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And a winch. I put a winch on thinking that was never going to happen. Never have to use it. It come out a lot.
It always happens like that, doesn't it? You think you're going to use it a lot, you put it in, and then you never use it, and then you put one in, it's not going to be used, but then you do. Or you don't put it in, and then you're like, I should have had a winch right now. No, so that's good advice.
We should get a winch.
We need to get one, because we plan on going a lot of off-road, off-grid, things as well. We've got 4x4, we've got an off-road caravan. We don't have the winch.
No.
We need to get one.
You'll find, with the off-road setup, you'll push yourself in spots you never thought you'll ever drive your car and van on. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good experience. Especially like South Lefroy and stuff like that. You're driving on the sand, and up top Broomway, like WA, you're always on sand. There's bits of Queensland the same. You're driving on sand and stuff.
So on the beach, how would you, I'm a lady, so like how would you use the winch, like in the sand? Would you then make like a bag under the sand and pull yourself out like that? Or
there was one instance where we were helping someone else who was actually bogged. She was a solo traveller and she was in a bad way.
Oh yeah.
And there were no trees to winch off, so we needed something to anchor off.
I found a tree root.
Yeah, you dug.
I dug under the sand into a tree root and wrapped it around the tree root, and then that was the only way out.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we didn't have that winch, we wouldn't have got her out either, because obviously sand, you're trying to pull a 3.5 ton car out, your car just bogs in as well. So you need that little bit of something. But otherwise, like I've had friends that have had to dig their spare tires into the sand and then winch themselves off their spare tires.
Yeah, because I've seen that.
But they were out on their own and stuck. No one was near them. No phone reception, nothing. So it was his only way. Put his tire in the sand and winch himself out slowly.
Wow.
Mm.
Yes. We've got a lot to look forward to. Yeah, we'll need to. But we need the tree route as well then.
Yeah, true.
No, we'll find something.
Yeah, I guess always having maybe someone who goes with you when you know you're going to go somewhere that's a bit tricky, maybe, you know, try and find someone that goes with you so that you're not by yourself is probably a good idea too. Yeah.
You find you meet a lot of people on the road and you follow the same paths in the end anyway, so you keep bumping into them and you become friends that way as well. So there's always someone there.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably something that really surprised us too, was the travel community out there and how amazing it is. You know, all these like-minded people. Yeah. There were days on the beach where we'd stayed longer than we thought, and people were offering to empty their water bladders, you know, to fill us up with water, or take our rubbish into town, pick up milk and bring it back to the beach. Like, it's just really beautiful. Cool. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
That's great stories. And I mean, it's those kind of stories that give the people who we made this podcast for, like, encouragement to just hit the road and, you know, and go out there, because obviously there are bad stories and we hear that over the news and stuff, but there's so many great people out there. And I think we need to spread more positivity like that and, you know, tell people.
Oh, there's so many great people on the road. It's awesome. It's the best thing we found on the road was the people you meet.
100%.
They're all amazing, and everyone's in the same mind frame as you, so everyone's positive and happy and
willing to share their tip or trick, or, you know, have you tried this, have you seen this, or it's just even nights where you share food. Like, again, you're trying to stay longer in a location and someone's out of milk or someone's out of something, everyone just shares their produce. You catch fish, bring it in onto the table. Generally it would be in our club lounge. You'd all just put whatever you had together and make a meal of it.
Amazing.
Cool.
I love it. I look forward to it.
That's great.
Very look forward to it. I guess one thing that we always ask as well is, which people, I mean, like to know when they're listening as well, is kind of like, did you guys save to be able to do this? Are you working right now? Like, do you stop places, or like, how do you obviously afford it? You've been on the road for 11 months. How do you afford it?
Yeah. So I myself am a big saver, and I've slowly got Simon on board to save over the years. I think now you've had a taste for it. I think you're going to remain a really good saver. When you've got that thing to drive you towards
it's a habit.
So we did save. We also picked up some caretaking roles. We might have to
not for money or anything, but just for free accommodation and stuff. Sorry, I'll be back in a tick.
It's okay. Let's get the kids there for a second.
We get it.
Oh dear. So have you got the one?
We got 2.
5-year-old?
No,
2. Okay,
yeah. The other one's 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Similar ages then.
Yeah.
We've got the similar age. Ours is turning 4, and
awesome.
What were we saying? So we picked up some caretaking roles on some stations. So that's where the farmers had to duck away for a few days and needed someone to run their station. We did 2 of those in WA. So again, not a paid position, but they put you up with accommodation.
Free meat.
Some meat, filled our freezer. And again, it was just an awesome way to meet the local community. And one station stay in particular, we saw them trading, honey for watermelon, cantaloupe for meat.
They'd trade and share things together.
It was beautiful to see. That was a highlight for us, I think. Just seeing small communities like that in the outback, helping each other.
And I think it's a whole different experience. Like it it's not just then traveling experience. You actually experience a whole different side of actually Australia, because I mean, why do we go and travel? We want to experience Australia and the beauty of it, but having like, and actually going into the communities, going into like the farms where people actually work and seeing how they do it. And yeah, I think it's amazing.
Pretty real.
Really loved it.
I think to answer and like another answer to that question for people that are wanting to get on the road and think they don't have enough money to do it, if they've got a little bit that can get them started, there's so much work around Australia. It's insane. Like, you can pick grapes, you can work at wineries, you can go work at these farm stays,
bakeries, cafes.
If you're a tradie, there's that much tradie work out there, or there's just so much work out there. Like, you could live this lifestyle forever if you wanted to. We did meet a family that have been doing it for quite a long time, and they work 3 months a year and then travel the rest. 3 months, travel, 3 months, travel.
Top up the funds and then keep going.
And they've been doing it for 4 years. I think that's right, isn't it? 4 years.
So.
I think they've been on the road. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. And it is. It's so easy if you just want to. Some people might come back and they've given up the money, but most possibly it's just because they've probably been like, okay, it's enough now. I think, because I think there's definitely ways to keep going if you really want to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess that comes into our next question. So how long are you guys willing to go for?
What's the plan
ahead? What are you doing?
I know you don't plan, but what is kind of the plan?
What's the general...
Well, for us, it's a little bit different. I'm back at work for a little bit now, so we're going to save a load of money again and do it all the same way we did it this time around. So
plan that centre trip,
so we can do through the centre, Arnhem Land and Tasmania and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm back working, making some money again.
So
living in the van down in Ocean Grove though.
Working a bit now so you can save up and then do another big trip. Like you said, that those other people work 3 months and then they enjoy the rest of the year.
Yeah,
good.
So
are you
we're essentially doing that just in our hometown.
Yeah, so are you parked up like a family? Sorry, maybe I missed it. Are you parked up at like family, or are you in a caravan park, or?
A mix of both, but at the moment we're in a caravan park, locally to work. So,
okay,
cool.
That's awesome. You are definitely doing it differently. I like hearing this whole podcast and just hearing different ways of doing everything. And I guess, is there any advice that you would? I know that it might be that it works for your family, but maybe there's just some basic advice that you could give other people that are traveling already, but also the ones who are thinking of going and kind of just need that bit of push to help them.
I think we've said it at the start. I think one's keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Two, don't put pressure on yourself to be places, and like just, I guess, enjoy what you're doing, because we have seen people not quite do their 12 months like they've wanted to. It wasn't for them, and they went home pretty early.
We probably met three families.
I think that was.
Some were only 3 months into their trip and came over and said, how do you both enjoy this? Like, what's some tips to keep us on the road? We're finding it really hard. So yeah, just be kind to yourself, that some days aren't all sunshine and rainbows. They're not all great. But you just got to embrace the good elements of every day, I think.
Yeah, I think that's very important to know, is that it's not all glitz and glamour camping. It's not the Instagram photos and the stuff that that
some people share.
that I mean, it is nice, and that's why we share them. But there are days that are, it's dark and it's raining and it's
Absolutely. I mean, today's one of them. We're in Victoria. We're not in WA with beaches and beautiful weather. It's raining outside. The kids are on their bunk bed watching a movie, which we're not good at doing. We're not good at sitting still and doing that. But it's a day that I suppose you can try and find a positive, catch up on some washing and some odd jobs, and when the sun is shining, get back out there.
Yeah, awesome. For you, Emily, is there like any like teacher type of tips and things that you share, or things I know that you share on your social media? You do a lot of like tips and things. Is there in particular, obviously with your trade, is there any like teaching? Because I know a lot of mums or parents in general asking a lot of questions about helping their kids and stuff.
Well, we're asking the questions. So
is there something that you share like in terms of tips and stuff on your social media that they can look out for?
Is that in regards to school?
Oh, I mean that as well, but I mean anything parenting. I think teachers are sometimes like the best teachers in life and everything. So I
think I don't know. I will continue to share more tips, because I have found a lot of people are interested in those little tips, like how we hang our shoes or where we store our shoes, where you store clothes and things. But the teaching side of it, I don't know.
What do you do differently?
Stuff like this. Yeah, things like that, like letters on the wall, make a word wall.
Or if you're cooking, you'll get Billy to help with numbers on the cooking machine.
Yeah, the kids love getting and helping cooking. Yeah. Even if they write, they pretend to write a bit of the recipe and just practice handwriting, mixing, stirring, all those kind of things, cutting the cake up into pieces. Just being hands-on with whatever you're doing. Our kids are in there doing what we're doing. Yeah.
And if they're drawing, you'll get them to write a story beside their drawing.
Yeah. And I mean, he's only prep, but you can scale that up if you've got older kids. But yeah.
I guess the only question we have left is to give our listeners and viewers a bit of like your handles, where they can find you guys to go and follow your journey and support you guys as well on your journey.
We're on Instagram at Doing It Differently. Differently's got 3 F's because we are doing it differently. Yeah, so that's us.
Yep, amazing.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. Just on Instagram, and people can, guys, go and follow Emily and Simon, because I've already, found so many tips and advice on their page, and I know that you all will get a lot of value on there as well. Thanks so much, Simon and Emily, for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy.
Thank you for listening to another awesome episode of Traveling Friends of Oz. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know how much you like the podcast by rating it in order to help it reach more listeners across Australia. The podcast is a non-for-profit, so we appreciate all the support.
Please also share the podcast on your socials by tagging Traveling Friends of Oz, as we are on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. These links are in the description below, and remember to subscribe, as there are many more stories yet to be told.
Travelers listening to this, if you want to be featured on the podcast, get in contact with us. We would love to share your story with other traveling friends of ours.